home that sits within this farmland, hidden within Mother Nature's foliage, like hands trying to conceal all the dark events that have occurred there.
In 1845, Simon T. Powell, one of the wealthiest men in Indiana, built the largest house in Henry County. Overgrown and run down, this once majestic estate has been empty since the 1970s. Its new owner believed it to be vacant until Thornhaven Manor's longtime residents made their presence known.
How you doing, man?
Good.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
So just right off the bat, you bought this house?
Yes.
When did you realize that, oh my God, I bought a haunted house?
Actually, the very first time when I came with the realtor, we had a door slam on us. One day when I was out here, I heard a scream. I heard a scream.
Did it sound like it was coming from inside the house?
Yes.
Because you're very isolated here.
Yeah.
You're out in the middle of nowhere.
What Steve has experienced, that which he believes to be paranormal, was a discovery he was eager to share with his friends.
Did you believe him right off the bat when he said that this place is haunted?
Yeah, I've never known him to lie.
But actions speak louder than words, so Steve invited them into his unrenovated home.
We just kind of came out one night, just my husband and I, and my husband was in the basement by himself and heard footsteps walk across the kitchen floor. You know, he called me and said, "Are you in the house?" And I said, "No, we're outside."
Are you aware of any deaths attached to this building?
I'm aware of two. One was a death of a young child. Her name was Lizzie.
Lizzie was the Powell's youngest daughter. She died unexpectedly just a few years after the family moved into the house. She was only 2 years old.
And then the other one was actually a murder.
There is a murder.
Yeah, there was a murder.
A documented murder.
A documented murder. It was a man by the name of Reuben Bailey. He was the caretaker to this home. Sat down for breakfast, and whoever put sugar in their coffee ended up getting a poison called rough on rats.
Someone tried to poison the entire family?
The entire family.
Who poisoned them?
It was the son-in-law.
The murder of Reuben Bailey in 1906, while clearly documented, never states exactly where he died. The assumption by many that Thornhaven Manor was the scene of the crime is based solely on the fact that Reuben was the longtime caretaker of the property. Therefore, due to lack of factual evidence directly linking this house to both deaths, we decide to enhance our investigation by examining the existing evidence brought to us by a local paranormal hobbyist that Steve allowed into Thornhaven Manor.
Apparently this guy captured a scream on audio inside the home. How you doing, man?
All right, how are you?
Nick, come here. How you doing? Zach.
Good to meet you.
You know what? Let's just listen to this right here.
All right. Okay, it's going to be 10 seconds in here.
That was it there, right?
Yes.
Where was the recorder at this moment?
This was with me in the main room as soon as you go in the front door.
Did you hear that with your own ears?
I did.
Yeah, I heard a scream, and it sounded like it came from the house.
There is one more piece of physical evidence that Steve presents to us, and this time it's visual. A thermal imaging capture taken inside of the house.
It's a series of images of this figure kind of coming into the frame, and then it even looks like it's looking into them.
Watch closely as the figure slowly moves from the window. The figure is also solid purple, indicating cold internal temperature, not of the living. Deciding to immediately begin our own investigation, Nick prepares to head into the house, while Aaron and I await the arrival of our final interview of the night.
Make sure when I'm in there, if you hear anything out here like screams or yells or anything like that, just let me know when I come out.
Sync this, start rolling on this,
Okay.
So if we hear a scream come from out here, and what we're trying to do is we're trying to debunk this scream that everybody's hearing and also capturing. This is our interview.
All right. See you in a
Go
bit.
up there, okay?
Yep.
What's your first name?
Wendy.
So when did you investigate here?
Well, we've investigated like 6 times.
Hello. My name is Nick. Is there somebody inside?
Now, those are the girls that hunt with me.
Oh, okay. Did they hunt here too?
Yes.
Okay. Nothing too intense happening yet. What's this? An attic? Whoa. It's creepy.
What was your most profound experience?
We were just sitting around and we heard footsteps. And at first, I mean, we really thought someone was in the house. It was real faint. And it basically sounded like it walked all the way to the fireplace in the hall. And that's the only time I've ever ran out of the house.
You playing hide and go seek? You upstairs?
All right, I want to talk about the moment that you were with Wendy. Were you all sitting in a circle?
Yes.
And you were with Steve?
We hear footsteps that sounds like it's coming from the breakfast room, and they're really faint. And you literally hear them get louder, and then we just kind of had to leave.
Is there a little girl here? Or maybe a woman? She got really dizzy all of a sudden, standing right at the bottom of the stair step.
Was it?
All right, I just heard a scream right now. I'm marking that. I just heard a scream.
I want to document that real quick on camera that we just heard a car screeching, and we want to see if Nick captured that as well. So document that too. What was the time code?
It sounded like it was inside the house. Hey, Zach!
Okay, hang on 1 second. Yeah.
You guys just hear a loud scream?
No, that was a car. Brakes.
Debunking evidence as paranormal false positives is just as important as capturing actual paranormal activity. In this case, the sound Nick heard was muffled by the walls, giving him the impression that it could have come from inside the house. What Aaron and I both heard was the unfiltered and unmistakable sound of a car screeching in the distance.
All right, so Zach just said that was a loud screeching car brake outside. It sounded like a scream.
Nick did perceive that as a scream, and it was a car actually with brakes. So, debunked.
Right before the screeching sound interrupted our interview, the 3 girls talked about an investigation they conducted with Steve. What's interesting is that they all shared the exact same terrifying experience.
Every single one of them told me about one particular night.
Yeah, we were all sitting in a circle in the hall. We started hearing light footsteps. I don't know who it was, but we kept on saying, "Can you please come closer? Can you please come closer?" It sounded like someone was coming in the room. We just got up and got out of there.
So we decide to give Steve and the girls another chance to conjure up that spirit. We set them up in the exact same location, with the only difference being the presence of the Ghost Adventures crew.
So everybody stay right where you're at. Okay, you ready? Turn off the light. Go ahead and ask questions.
If there's anybody here with us tonight, could you please come forward?
What was that?
I don't know.
Was that you, Nick, or was there a
No, that was upstairs.
That just kind of gives me chills.
Thornhaven Manor, hoping to recreate the night that Wendy said scared her and her friends out of the house, we all hear the same thing.
What was that?
I don't know. I heard that.
While remaining a bit skeptical of any first-time investigation, I must say that what we all just heard was definitely not an animal. More like distinct footsteps coming from above.
Is there anybody upstairs? Can you bang on the floor from upstairs? There it is.
having accomplished our goal of finding some paranormal activity during this preliminary investigation, we decide to finally call it a night.
Okay, let's wrap it up, guys. We're gonna get out of here, wrap up today, do a little bit more research on the house tomorrow, and then get ready for our lockdown tomorrow night. Cool?
Right. Sounds good.
Thanks,
you. Guys. Really appreciate it.
Yep.
Intrigued by our findings during our initial investigation of Thornhaven Manor, we decide to dig deeper by researching the history of the home to see if we can connect what Steve and the others have experienced to actual persons or events.
We're trying to connect the pieces here of your paranormal evidence to history. We know that Simon T. Powell was the original homeowner. Mm-hmm. He had 2 sons. One of his other sons was killed in the Civil War. And also his other son, Henry Powell. Are you familiar with Henry Powell?
A little bit.
He died at age 72 in the home because his father, Simon, gave him the home. Now, what's really interesting, and Nick, I wanted to share this with you too, I found out that Henry Powell suffered for many years with an injury to his leg that he suffered in the Civil War. One of the most common occurrences that you're hearing in the house and that we feel that we captured yesterday during our preliminary investigation is what? A dragging sound. What was that? So we're almost thinking that are these dragging sounds possibly Henry Powell, who died in the house, trying to walk around?
It's interesting that you bring this up just because Simon T. Powell, his father, he had some sort of palsy. Simon Powell himself also walked with a crutch his whole life.
Really? Wow.
That just kind of gives me chills thinking about it because I never put that together.
Now, I find it really interesting that we found this newspaper article. It talks about Henry's wife, Amelia. According to this article, written in 1892, Amelia began having mental derangement, as the article said. She left her home, she left her husband, and she went to go stay with her sister in Logansport. Her sister went up to bring her down for breakfast, knocked on the door, opened the door, and her sister was nowhere to be found. Her sister found a written note from Amelia that says, "You're not going to find me." Somehow her sister walked out of that door, went right to an area by this where this waterworks was on the Race River, and found her body. In the article, it says that her sister, quote unquote, as if guided by some hidden power. I know that there was a thermal imaging capture, and it appears to be a woman. Because you have a suicide. A lot of people that commit suicides, they're not at rest.
The only place that she would have known where to go would be that house.
Yeah, it would be
in
home.
my sense, home.
Is Amelia in the thermal imaging capture?
A good part of what we do is deductive speculation based on historical fact discovered through extensive research. But the examination of physical evidence gives us a better idea of what may be paranormal and what often can be debunked.
Last night when we were investigating, Nick was inside the house alone. Nick,
I heard a loud scream, and it sounded like it came from inside the house.
okay.
I just heard a scream.
And when he heard that, Aaron and I both immediately reacted to a car that seemed to have something wrong with its transmission or something. I want to document that real quick on camera that we just heard a car screeching. So what Jay did is he brought in the audio that Darren collected of what he called a scream. Now, last night, this is the car that we heard, the transmission or something. Jay, what were you able to find out?
What I went and did, I actually synced up the beginning of Darren's scream and then the car sound. I synced up so they both start at the exact same time. And the scream ends around the same time. They also have the same kind of fade out sound. They have like a, you know, it's like that, There's a slight fade out, and they both have pretty much the exact same time of a fade out. Honestly, to me, they sound very similar, and the fact that they're the exact same length and have the same fade out properties, I would say I think it might be the car.
Yeah. Well, that's still amazing to me just because that sound is so distinctive. And so it sounds like there is a car
Right, you might have a neighbor
in the neighborhood that every once in a while.
Right.
So that's good to know.
Although we debunked the screams heard at Thornhaven Manor, that does not mean there are no ghosts living at the house. Come nightfall, we will try our best to raise them up.
Whoa.
All right, let's go. Hurry up. While Nick, Aaron, and myself are making our 1 hour drive to Thornhaven Manor, our audio-visual techs Billy Tolley and Jay Wasley are monitoring 4X cameras and conducting an experiment with the Ovilus 3, a spirit communication device containing a phonetic generator as well as a temperature sensor. They place it in this chair near a doll in an attempt to communicate with the spirit of a little girl named Lizzie, who apparently died in the home.
Whoa. You know what that means? Do you know what that means?
That there's someone right there.
That means that there's a change in temperature. That just gave me the chills.
Really? Yeah. Just recently, just in like the last 10 minutes.
All right, let's go.
Hurry up.
What's going on? We're trying to talk to Lizzie, the little girl, and I said, Lizzie, sit in the chair next to the little baby girl. And those lights all of a sudden went to green, which means it got colder.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Are you there, Lizzie? If you're there, can you tell me what is sitting next to the device that has all the lights on it? What is that sitting in the chair there?
Look, it's starting to turn green again.
Lizzie, can you tell me what is that sitting in the chair next to the little blinky lights? What is that?
I've never seen those lights. Whoa, and it went red, which meant flower.
She just said a flower.
There's a flower in the other room.
In what room?
In the next room.
On the table.
There's a flower there?
Yeah, there is. Remember I shot yesterday when we walked.
Yeah.
We believe Lizzie or another spirit comes through and doesn't tell us a doll is next to the device, but the only table in the entire house, which is in the front entryway, miraculously has a single flower sitting on top of it. We believe this spirit is referring to this flower.
That's good. I'm very glad. There is a flower on the table over there.
No more words come through the Ovilus, but as we gear up to get ready to investigate, Jay begins to amazingly hear pronounced footsteps in the empty home, followed by a door slam.
What was it?
Whoa. Green again. Something's manipulating that. That sounds like little feet walking, doesn't it?
Yeah, check this out.
Lizzie, is that you by the device there? Can you tell me what's sitting in the chair there?
Look at that, dude.
Whoa, that's weird.
You hear that?
Does it sound like little feet?
Like a whole bunch no, but there's a door that goes boom, boom,
Right.
something.
Yeah.
With some interesting activity occurring in the empty home, it is now time for Nick, Aaron, and myself to begin our investigation.
We're in these masks because there's a lot of contaminants inside, so we don't want to risk it. Can't wait to investigate, man. This is going to be crazy.
Watch out for the hornet's nest there. Don't bump the walls.
Zach, here's the flower.
It's amazing.
We feel that possibly a spirit is telling us to make further communication at this table. The PX device is another communication tool, but this one allows spirits to actually use phonemes to create their own words, not just from a word database, and right away it begins to speak.
Zach, I have the PX on just in case too right now, in case something happens.
Questions, your words, questions. That's what it just said. Here. Action.
Who is with us right now? Who are you?
Lizzie, can you come talk to us?
A spirit voice comes through the Ovilus 3 that Billy and Jay set up inside the house. It says flower.
Flower. She just said a flower.
The only flower in the entire house is on a table near the entrance. We place our PX device on the table and get immediate results.
Questions, your words, questions. That's what it just said. Here. Action.
What's interesting is that the Ovilus 3 said flower in the other room to direct us over here, where now the PX device further validates why we had to come to the table with the flower. We now use a third communication device, the SB7 Spirit Box, to ask what they are requesting.
Who said ask questions? Reuben Bailey, Henry Powell, Ophelia Powell, Lindsay, Frank Herman. If any of these spirits are here with us now, please tell us your first name.
Right there it says spirit. It goes hide spirit.
No voices come through the spirit box. However, the PX device says hide spirits.
Right there it says spirit. It goes hide spirit.
Is this a protective patriarch spirit possibly warning Lizzie and others to hide because of our presence?
What is your first name?
This house was built in 1845 by Simon T. Powell. A few years after moving in, his 2-year-old daughter Lizzie died here.
What is your first name? Lizzie, how are you able to talk, or is this Amelia?
Simon Powell's daughter-in-law, Amelia, left this home to get mental health treatment where she ended up committing suicide. We wonder if she returned to this home and is caring for young Lizzie.
Who said Lizzie? What is your first name? Are you looking after her?
Lizzie, can you come talk to us?
As this next voice comes through, I feel like a shock come up through my legs, which makes me spring up from the table. We are mind blown because after I ask who is protecting Lizzie, we hear a female spirit come through, and to us it sounds like Emily. Could this be short for Amelia or a nickname?
Who said Lizzie? What is your first name? Are you looking after her?
Lizzie, can you come talk to us?
Can you tell me who is with us right now? Who are you?
we capture this ball of light that appears to be floating or walking behind me. We debunk this as not being a speck of dust because of its characteristics and because the first time you see it, it is behind my left arm, which would be approximately 4 to 7 feet beyond the camera lens. Also, it's not a bug as our HD cameras can easily define the difference. Here's what a bug looks like, and here again is the unexplained light anomaly, which we believe could be the spirit of Emily or Amelia. We now begin using our FLIR thermal imaging camera.
Hey guys.
Yeah.
What is this?
What?
Why is that super cold right there? Or whatever that is right there. Isn't that weird? Here. Do you not see this?
Not on my night vision, so it's only showing up on thermal.
Why'd that go off? I don't know. There's no reason for that. It's going crazy.
Just start going nuts.
I'm not going to leave until video evidence. I head up to the top floor of Thornhaven Manor with a thermal imaging camera and immediately see something in the viewfinder.
Why is that super cold right there? Or whatever that is right there. Isn't that weird? Here. Do you not see this?
Not on my night vision, so it's only showing up on thermal. It's only showing up on thermal.
You know, there's no cracks in the window. There's nothing.
There's nothing. They're all sealed shut. I don't feel any drafts coming in right now.
Hang on. I got an idea. 85 degrees in here. 84. Let's go down. I'm getting some consistency of temperature. 5 degrees cooler on the bottom. Well, hot air rises, so it makes sense. You know?
I need to go downstairs and see what's upstairs.
Did you see anything?
Yeah.
Something's marked stained through or something?
Okay. It's down here too in the same spot.
Oh,
Something
it's water
stained.
damage. The water itself is cooler than the actual ground, which makes sense. Debunk, man. That's good. That's good. We debunked it.
We decide to head back to base camp to strategize our next plan when we notice that our X camera in the upstairs bedroom documents our vibe device beginning to flash, meaning it's detecting a vibration on the floor. Seconds later, you can hear something fidgeting with our camera. And immediately after this, something even more startling occurs.
Oh, it just went out of focus.
No, look, dude. Did you see that?
You didn't pull focus on this?
It's automatic.
It's automatic. Look at the rest
So
of
it's only going to adjust if something passes in front of it.
There's something going on.
If there's somebody upstairs, I want you to walk around. If there's somebody upstairs, walk.
Look how close it's
Can
focused.
you hear me, Ruben? Can you hear me, Henry?
Wow.
Frank Thurman, are you there, Frank?
Dude, it never does that.
It's like almost if they're at the camera playing with the focus.
Right. There's a weird vibe upstairs.
Yeah, it's kind of weird why it's focusing like that.
And it just stopped. Now it's fine.
Henry, if that's you, can you tell me what do you need, Henry? Ruben, what killed you? Jesus.
Oh, hey. We just lost upstairs.
What the Why'd that go off?
I don't know.
No reason I should.
Why'd that go off?
There's no reason for that.
Let's address what happens here. The Vibe Pod flashes detecting vibrations on the wooden floor. Then we hear something messing with our camera. Then the camera begins to unexplainably focus in and out aggressively. Then the camera immediately loses transmission. We send Billy in to check on the camera and also place this teddy bear trigger object, which is outfitted with electromagnetic sensors inside of it, so if Lizzie tries to grab the teddy bear, it will alarm just like our millimeters do.
Whoa.
That shouldn't be doing that unless someone's touching it.
Whoa.
It's going crazy.
Just start going nuts.
Holy
Kid likes teddy bear.
Look at the third light just went off in the right arm.
All of a sudden, the teddy bear begins lighting up at its fullest power, meaning a very large amount of electromagnetic energy is in contact with it. This house is on fire with activity, so the guys send me in alone to investigate.
Hi, Lizzie.
Shortly after I enter, the teddy bear stops alarming, and it seems like a lot actually happens while we're not inside the house, so I decide to be quiet and focus on trying to see these spirits.
Sort of knock. Sort of knock.
Don't be afraid of me.
Whoa. Holy
Heard a dragging sound.
Just heard a dragging sound, guys.
Yeah, we heard that too.
Okay.
Earlier, we found out that one of the home's owners, Henry Powell, who died in this house, suffered from a Civil War gunshot wound to the leg. Frequent dragging sounds are believed to be his spirit.
Don't be afraid of me.
Whoa. Whoa. Whoa.
I'm not going to leave until you come out and show yourself. So you might as well do it now rather than later. Can you see me? Can you hear me? Can you feel me? Sort of feel uneasy. Just heard her breathe. Dude! Same spot! I am ice cold right now.
I hear a dragging sound, so I head up the stairs in an attempt to meet the spirit face to face.
I'm not gonna leave until you come out and show yourself. Heard her breathe. Dude! Same spot!
Oh, yeah. Just did it again. That's true. Earlier. It turns on by itself right at the top of the stairs.
Earlier, when Nick and Aaron were with me and we went up here to investigate, my walkie-talkie did the same exact thing in the same exact spot.
What is that, Zach? Why is that going off continuously?
Never seen a difference. No. Same identical spot. That is weird. But I am ice cold right now. There is. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Are you trying to use this? Holy. Guys, I can't move. I can't move.
As I'm frozen in place, our X camera in one of the upstairs bedrooms captures this black mist darting from right to left. We debunk this as not being any type of explained shadow, and we believe this is a shadow figure. Because my walkie-talkie malfunctions, I have no contact with the others, so I return to Nerve Center. And feeling a little drained from all the spirits using me as a conduit to manifest, Nick decides to take the lead and immediately go into the house.
Lizzie, are you upstairs?
What is that?
Did you see that? Something just got thrown.
I heard something falling down the steps.
Yeah, something just got thrown at me, like a little pebble or some and hit near my foot.
Yeah, it's like something.
I don't know where it came from. I don't know if it came off the ceiling or if it actually was thrown.
Nick hears and sees what appears to be a little pebble or rock, either being thrown or dropping off the ceiling, as we really can't determine because we don't see it on camera. What's interesting is Nick's standing in the same spot where my walkie-talkie malfunctioned twice, and I felt the most intense energy presence of anywhere in the investigation.
Guys, I can't move. I can't move.
Is this a possible location of a doorway or portal to the other side?
That was weird.
Can you shoot on the ceiling and stuff like that to see if there's anything loose that could have fallen?
I don't see anything.
I'm going to send Billy in there to take full spectrum stills while you're doing that.
Okay.
Aaron, do me a favor. Take Mel. I'm going to send Aaron in real quick to do a EMF reading in that spot at the stairs. Can you two guys do a spirit box session right there on the stairs and see if they tell you that they are responsible for the rock?
Were you the one that threw something at me?
Out of the 88 full-spectrum still photos that Billy takes while Nick and Aaron are investigating the spot at the top of the staircase, he takes one that captures an interesting anomaly. If you look closely on the right-hand side, there's a 2 to 3 foot mist-like anomaly on the ground. This is very compelling to us because Billy snaps 2 pictures from the same angle and this anomaly is nowhere to be seen, which in paranormal still photography debunks the possibility of any objects or patterns on the wall contaminating or matrixing into anomalies. This also eliminates any possibility of lens flare as Billy was on the other side of the floor from Nick and Aaron. We are compelled to immediately show this evidence to Steve, the home's owner.
You see that?
Yeah.
It's like this tall off the ground.
Oh, okay. I mean, with that kind of size, the only one person I know that died there was Lizzie, and she was 2. And so kind of it's odd that it's about the same height as a little 2-year-old.
Right. It took her a while to come out.
Yeah.
But once she warmed up to us.
So come out and play.
Yeah. And I feel she was doing that with the little lights and stuff like that. Now, not only that, but in our spirit box session, we heard the voice Lizzie. And what's interesting, it wasn't a little girl saying it. It was an older voice. We spent a good deal of time investigating.
Right.
Not at once did we ever feel or sense anything in there negative at all. At all. Mm-hmm. So thank you, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Good house, a special place. Please protect it.
Oh, definitely.
The history is still surviving inside of these places. The history is alive.
Thornhaven Manor, its former splendor covered in nature's grip, proved to be every bit the haunted house its appearance suggests. But who is it that's haunting this 168-year-old structure? Is it poor little Lizzie, who died unexpectedly when she was just 2 years old? Or Amanda Powell, the suicide victim who once called this place home? Murder